Deep in the command center of the underground city, Elder Taeho Kim sat in front of multiple screens showing every movement of the alien intruders. His weathered face showed no emotion, but his hands gripped the armrests of his chair tightly. At 70 years old, he was one of the few people who still remembered the stories his grandmother told him about the Great Purge. The screens showed 4 aliens hiding in the shadows at the edge of their main cavern. They were recording everything and talking quietly among themselves. Taeho could hear every word through the hidden microphones, built into the cave walls decades ago. A young woman with short black hair entered the command center quickly. Engineer Nari Choi was only 25, but she was one of the brightest minds in the colony. She had been monitoring the alien shuttle since it first appeared on their sensors. Elder Taeho, the aliens have been watching us for 3 hours now, she said. Their translation computers are working on our language, but they have not figured out what we are yet. They think we are a new species they have never seen before. Taeho nodded slowly. That gives us some time to decide what to do. Have you identified their ship class and weapon systems? Nari pulled up another screen with technical data about the alien vessel. It is a standard Galactic survey ship, 3 pulse cannons and basic shields. Nothing we cannot handle if it comes to a fight. But Elder, there is something else you need to know. She changed the display to show energy signatures and ship identification codes. I ran the data through our historical databases. This ship belongs to the same fleet command structure that participated in the Great Purge 300 years ago. The old man closed his eyes for a moment. He had hoped this day would never come, but his people had prepared for it anyway. Every human colony scattered across the galaxy had been built with this possibility in mind. They could not run forever. Taeho activated the colony-wide communication system. All section leaders report to the command center immediately. This is not a drill. Within minutes, the command center filled with the leaders of different parts of the underground city. There was Dr. Yoon Yu, the chief scientist who had developed most of their defensive technology, workshop leader Minho Lee, who maintained all their equipment and weapons, security chief Bokyung Jang, who had trained their fighters, and many others. The elder showed them the images of the aliens and explained what they had discovered. The room fell silent as the implications sank in. After 3 centuries of hiding, their worst fears were coming true. We have 3 options, Taeho said quietly. We can try to remain hidden and hope they leave. We can make peaceful contact and pretend to be a primitive culture they will not see as a threat. Or we can eliminate them before they can report back to their fleet. Dr. Yoon spoke first. If we hide, they will keep investigating until they find us anyway. Their sensors are too good. And if we attack them directly, their ship will detect the weapons fire and send a distress signal automatically. That leaves peaceful contact, Bokyung said. But we cannot let them know what we really are or how advanced our technology has become. We need someone who can play the role of a primitive cave dweller convincingly. A young man near the back of the room stepped forward. Scout Captain Hyun. Seo was 28 years old and had trained for this exact situation his entire life. Every human colony had people like him ready to make first contact if necessary. I can do it, Hyun said simply. I have studied their languages and customs for years. I can make them believe we are just simple miners who have lived in these caves for a few generations. Nothing more than that. Elder Taeho looked at the young man carefully. This would be the most dangerous job in the colony. One mistake could expose not just their settlement but human colonies throughout the galaxy. What will you tell them about our technology, about our numbers, about our capabilities? Taeho asked. Hyun had already thought about this. I will say we are, maybe 200 or 300 people at most, that we use simple tools to mine metal from the cave walls, that we have lived here for only 50 years or so. I will make us seem completely harmless. Dr. Yoon activated a holographic display showing the alien team. They are getting restless. Their commander is preparing to try direct contact within the next hour. If we are going to do this, we need to move now. Taeho made the decision that would change everything. Do it. But remember, Hyun, you are not just representing our colony. Every hidden human settlement in the galaxy depends on what happens in the next few hours. Make them believe we are no threat to anyone. Hyun nodded and headed for the equipment room to prepare. He put on simple clothes that looked handmade and took only basic tools that could have been crafted by primitive miners. He practiced his story one more time, then walked toward the main cavern where the aliens waited. The rest of the colony leadership moved to their emergency stations. Dr. Yoon activated the hidden defense systems but kept them powered down so they would not show up on alien sensors. Minho prepared to shut down all advanced technology at a moment's notice. Bokyung positioned security teams throughout the tunnel system. On the main screen, they watched as Hyun emerged from a side tunnel and walked casually into the main cavern. He pretended to notice the aliens for the first time and showed the right amount of surprise and curiosity that primitive people would display. The alien commander stepped out of the shadows, with his hands raised in what he thought was a peaceful gesture. The universal translator on his belt began working immediately as he spoke. "Greetings, we are explorers from the Galactic Survey Fleet. We mean you no harm. We did not know anyone lived on this world." Hyun responded in perfectly broken Galactic standard, as if he had only learned a few words from old recordings. "We are miners. We live in caves. We dig metal from rocks. You are star people, yes." The aliens seemed relieved that first contact was going smoothly. They asked simple questions about how many people lived here and how long they had been on this world. Hyun gave them exactly the answers they wanted to hear. Small numbers, primitive technology, no threat to anyone. But in the command center, Elder Taeho watched the alien commander's face carefully. There was something in the creature's eyes that bothered him. The way it looked at Hyun reminded him too much of the stories his grandmother used to tell. Stories about how the aliens had looked at humans just before the killing began. The first contact was going well, but Taeho could not shake the feeling that they were all walking into a trap that had been set 300 years ago. Commander Veltar stood on the bridge of his ship and looked at the dead planet below. His reptilian eyes scanned the rocky surface through the viewing screen. The planet looked empty and lifeless, just like the star chart said it would be. No green plants, no blue oceans, no signs of any living things at all. The Sorok commander had been exploring space for 20 years. He had seen many worlds, but most of them were just rocks floating in the darkness. This planet was supposed to be the same. His crew had come here looking for rare metals and maybe some old ruins to study, nothing more than that. His second in command was a tall blue-skinned alien named Krixna. She had 4 arms and large compound eyes like an insect. Krixna walked up to Veltar and handed him a data pad with their scanning results on it. "The scans show some interesting metal deposits deep underground," she said in her buzzing voice. "We should be able to extract enough valuable materials to make this trip profitable." Veltar nodded and was about to give the order to begin mining operations when something strange happened. The ship's sensors started beeping loudly and flashing red warning lights. The navigation officer called out from his station, "Commander, we are detecting something impossible down there. The sensors are picking up organized energy patterns deep beneath the surface. It looks like technology, but that cannot be right." Veltar moved quickly to the sensor station and looked at the readings himself. The screen showed clear evidence of power generation and electronic signals coming from far below the planet's rocky crust. The patterns were too organized to be natural, but they did not match any known alien technology in their databases. "How deep are these signals coming from?" Veltar asked. The officer checked his instruments again. "At least 5 kilometers down, sir. The signals are very faint, but they are definitely there. It looks like there might be structures or buildings of some kind." Krixna buzzed with excitement. This could be the discovery of a lifetime commander. A completely unknown civilization living beneath the surface. The Galactic Council would pay enormous rewards for first contact with a new species. Veltar thought carefully about their options. They could report back to the Galactic Council immediately and wait for a proper first contact team to arrive. That would be the safe thing to do, but it would also mean giving up the glory and rewards of discovery to someone else. The commander made his decision. "We will investigate these readings ourselves. Prepare a landing party with full exploration gear. I want to know what is down there." The alien crew spent the next few hours preparing for their descent to the planet's surface. They loaded their shuttle with scanning equipment, translation devices, and recording instruments. Veltar selected his best people for the mission, including Krixna and their top security officer. The shuttle landed on the rocky surface near the strongest energy readings. The alien team put on their environmental suits and stepped out onto the dead world. The ground was hard and covered with small rocks. There were no plants or water anywhere they could see. Krixna used her scanning device to locate the source of the underground signals. The readings led them to what looked like a natural cave entrance hidden between two large boulders. The cave mouth was dark and seemed to go very deep into the planet. The energy signatures are definitely coming from inside this cave system, Commander Krixna reported. The signals are getting stronger as we get closer. Veltar turned on his flashlight and led the team into the cave. The tunnel was wider than it looked from outside, and the walls were smooth as if they had been carved by intelligent hands. Strange symbols were etched into the rock surfaces, but they did not match any language in their translation databases. As they moved deeper underground, the air began to smell different. Instead of the dead, dusty smell of the surface, there was something fresh and alive down here. It reminded Veltar of growing plants and clean water. After walking for nearly an hour through winding tunnels, the alien team saw light ahead. Not the artificial light from their flashlights, but warm yellow, light like sunlight. They moved toward it carefully and emerged into something that took their breath away. Before them stretched an enormous underground city carved directly into the living rock. Buildings rose up from the cave floor in graceful curves that seemed to flow naturally from the stone itself. Gardens filled with green plants and small trees lined pathways between the structures. Water flowed in channels cut into the rock, creating small streams and fountains. But most amazing of all were the people walking through this hidden city. They looked almost exactly like the extinct human species that had once lived in this part of the galaxy. Same height, same general body shape, same facial features. But humans had been wiped out hundreds of years ago during the Great Purge. These beings moved with purpose through their underground world. Some tended the gardens while others worked on building maintenance. Children played in open areas while adults conducted business in the marketplace. It was a complete functioning society hidden away from the rest of the galaxy. Veltar and his team watched in amazement from the shadows at the edge of the cavern. They had expected to find ruins or maybe simple cave dwellers. Instead, they had discovered a sophisticated civilization that had somehow remained hidden for centuries. The commander activated his recording equipment and began documenting everything they saw. This was indeed the discovery of a lifetime. A completely unknown species living in secret beneath a dead world. The Galactic Council would reward them beyond their wildest dreams for this find. But Veltar did not know that these were not unknown aliens at all. They were the descendants of human colonists who had fled into hiding during the Great Purge. Every person in this underground city carried the genetic memory of persecution passed down through generations of survivors. The humans had sensors of their own built into the very walls of their hidden city. They had detected the alien shuttle the moment it entered their atmosphere. They knew exactly where the intruders were and what they were doing. Now the descendants of Earth faced a terrible choice that would determine the fate of not just their own settlement but human colonies hidden throughout the galaxy. The age of hiding was about to end. Dr. Yun sat in her laboratory surrounded by dozens of screens, showing every detail of the alien technology. Her fingers moved quickly across multiple keyboards as she analyzed the data streaming in from hidden sensors throughout the cave system. What she was discovering made her stomach turn cold with fear. The energy signatures from the alien weapons matched patterns in their historical databases, patterns that had been burned into human memory for 300 years. These were not just random explorers who had stumbled onto their world. These aliens belonged to the same military structure that had tried to wipe humanity from the galaxy. She activated her communication link to the command center. Elder Taiho, I need to speak with you immediately. What I have found changes everything. The main cavern scout Captain Hyun continued his performance as a simple primitive miner. The aliens had been asking him questions for over 2 hours now, and he could tell they were becoming more comfortable. They spoke more freely among themselves, thinking he could not understand their advanced language, but every word they said was being recorded and translated by the colony computers. Hyun heard one of them mention relocating the primitive humans to make room for mining operations. Another suggested capturing a few specimens for scientific study. They talked about his people like they were animals to be moved around or experimented on. The alien commander Veltar seemed especially interested in how many tunnels connected to other parts of the cave system. He kept asking about deeper levels, and whether there were other groups of miners living elsewhere in the underground network. Hyun gave vague answers that suggested their settlement was very small and isolated. Meanwhile, in her laboratory, Dr. Yoon was making connections that filled her with dread. She pulled up communication intercepts that their hidden monitoring stations had been collecting for decades. Radio transmissions between Galactic survey ships often mentioned cleanup operations and specimen collection protocols. The pieces of the puzzle were falling into place. The Galactic Council had never stopped hunting for human survivors. They had been searching systematically through every system where humans had once lived. This survey mission was not about finding new civilizations. It was about finishing the job they had started 3 centuries ago. Dr. Yoon sent her findings directly to Elder Taeho Command Station. Within minutes, alarms began flashing throughout the command center. Not the loud alarms that would warn the colony of immediate danger, but the silent lights that meant their worst fears were being confirmed. Taeho read through Dr. Yoon's research quickly. His face grew darker with each page of evidence. When he finished, he looked around the command center at his senior staff. Every person there understood what this meant. The age of hiding was over, whether they wanted it to be or not. Security Chief Bok-young stepped forward. "Sir, if these aliens are part of an active search and destroy mission, they cannot be allowed to report back to their fleet. Too many human colonies would be exposed if they send our location to the Galactic Council." Workshop leader Minho nodded, in agreement. "Our defense systems have been dormant for decades, but they are still fully functional. We can disable their ship and prevent any communications from getting out." But Elder Taeho was thinking about something bigger than just their own survival. If this survey fleet was actively hunting for humans, then other hidden colonies were in danger too. The time for hiding and hoping might be over for all of humanity. He activated the emergency communication array that connected their settlement to 12 other human colonies scattered across the galaxy. The system had been installed 50 years ago but never used. Today that would change. "This is Isul Colony calling all hidden settlements," he broadcast on the encrypted channel. "We have been discovered by a galactic survey team. Repeat, we have been discovered. All colonies should prepare for possible exposure." The responses came back within minutes. Colony after colony reporting that they too had detected increased survey activity in their regions. The pattern was clear. The Galactic Council had decided it was time to finish what they had started during the Great Purge. In the main cavern, the aliens were growing impatient with what they saw as primitive slowness from the human miner. Commander Veltar decided to demonstrate the superiority of galactic technology by activating his deep-range scanners to map the cave system more thoroughly. The moment his scanners powered up, every screen in Dr. Yoon's laboratory lit up with warnings. The alien scanning beam was powerful enough to penetrate deep into their mountain and reveal the true scope of their underground city. In seconds, they would discover that this was not a small mining settlement, but a massive urban center housing hundreds of thousands of people. Dr. Yoon grabbed her emergency communicator. "All defensive systems online now," she ordered. "Target the alien scanning equipment only. We cannot let them complete that scan." Throughout the underground city, hidden panels slid open, revealing defensive weapons that had been concealed for decades. Electromagnetic pulse generators designed specifically to disable alien technology without harming organic beings powered up for the first time in 30 years. But they were too late. Commander Veltar's scanner had already penetrated deep enough to reveal the impossible truth. His screen showed a city that extended for hundreds of kilometers in every direction. Population estimates in the millions, industrial complexes and manufacturing centers, military installations and training facilities. The primitive mining settlement was revealed to be one of the most advanced underground civilizations the galaxy had ever seen, and the species running it looked exactly like the humans that were supposed to be extinct. Veltar stared at his scanner display in shock and growing fear. His crew had not discovered a new primitive species. They had found proof that the Great Purge had failed, and humanity had been preparing for revenge for 300 years. The reptilian commander reached for his communicator to send an emergency message to his fleet, but before his clawed finger could touch the transmission button, every piece of alien technology in the cave suddenly went dead. Engineer Nari Choi stepped out of the shadows holding a device that looked like a simple metal tube, but contained technology that could selectively target and disable any non-human equipment. She smiled at the shocked aliens and spoke to them in perfect galactic standard. "Welcome to humanity, Commander Veltar. We have been waiting a very long time to meet you again." Commander Veltar felt his blood turn cold as he stared at the young human woman holding the strange device. All around him, his crew members were frantically trying to restart their equipment, but nothing worked. Their weapons were dead, their communicators silent, their scanning devices showing only empty screens. The human woman who had introduced herself as Engineer Nari Choi walked closer to the alien team. Her movements were calm and confident, like someone who held all the advantages in a dangerous situation. Behind her, more humans began emerging from hidden passages in the cave walls. "You are wondering how we can speak your language so perfectly," Nari said in flawless galactic standard. "You are wondering how we knew exactly what kind of equipment you carry and how to disable it. You are wondering how we built technology that your scanners cannot detect." She gestured toward the vast underground city spread out before them. "The answer is simple. We have had 300 years to study everything about your people. 300 years to prepare for this day. 300 years to make sure that when humanity emerged from hiding, we would be ready for anything you could throw at us." More humans appeared around the alien team. Men and women of all ages, moving with the quiet discipline of people who had trained for this moment their entire lives. None of them carried visible weapons, but the aliens could sense the barely controlled danger radiating from each person. Scout Captain Hyun stepped forward and removed the simple mining clothes he had been wearing. Underneath was a uniform made from materials the aliens did not recognize, advanced fabric that seemed to shift color slightly as he moved. "I apologize for the deception, Commander," he said formally, "but we needed to understand your intentions before revealing ourselves. Now we know exactly why you came here and what you plan to do with us." Dr. Yun Yu emerged from a concealed doorway carrying a datapad filled with information. She was a small elderly woman with gray hair, but something in her eyes made even the large reptilian commander take a step backward. "We have been monitoring Galactic Council communications for decades," she said calmly. "We know about the bounties still placed on human survivors. We know about the research facilities where captured humans are taken. We know about the slave markets where our people are bought and sold like animals." She held up the datapad showing intercepted messages and classified documents. "We know that the Great Purge never actually ended. It just became more careful and systematic. Survey missions like yours have been searching every system where humans once lived, trying to find survivors to eliminate." Commander Veltar tried to speak, but found his voice caught in his throat. Everything these humans were saying matched classified information that only the highest levels of the Galactic Council were supposed to know about. How could primitive cave dwellers have access to military secrets? The answer came when the cave walls around them began to change. What had looked like natural stone shifted and moved, revealing that much of what they had seen was advanced camouflage technology. Hidden screens flickered to life, showing real-time images from across the galaxy. Security Chief Bokyung Jung pointed to the displays. "Those are live feeds from surveillance equipment we have placed near every major Galactic Council facility. We have been watching you just as carefully as you have been hunting us. The difference is we are much better at staying hidden." The screens showed images that made the alien crew gasp in shock. Human agents working undetected in alien cities. Human technology integrated seamlessly into Galactic Council computer networks. Human ships disguised to look like standard civilian vessels moving freely through controlled space. "We are not hiding in caves because we are primitive," Bokyung continued. "We are hiding in caves because it is the best way to build the infrastructure we need without being detected. Every human colony has been constructed as both a home and a fortress." Workshop leader Minho approached carrying what looked like a simple tool, but the aliens could sense the dangerous energy radiating from it. "This is a standard mining laser," he said, holding up the device. "Except it has been modified using principles your scientists have not discovered yet. It can cut through your ship armor like paper." He activated the tool, and a beam of coherent light sliced cleanly through a nearby boulder, leaving the cut surfaces smooth as glass. "But that is nothing compared to what we have built in our manufacturing centers. Would you like to see some of our more advanced weapon systems?" Before Commander Veltar could answer, the floor beneath their feet began to vibrate with a deep thrumming sound. Sections of the cave floor slid away, revealing an enormous elevator platform. The alien team found themselves being lowered deeper into the mountain, surrounded by humans who watched them with expressions of calm interest. The elevator descended. For what felt like hours, though it was probably only minutes. When it finally stopped, the aliens found themselves in a cavern so vast they could not see the far walls, and filling that cavern were machines of war, unlike anything in their galactic databases. Sleek vessels that combined human innovation with 3 centuries of stolen and improved alien technology. Weapon systems that used energy principles the Galactic Council had never encountered. Manufacturing equipment that could produce advanced materials faster and cheaper than anything in civilized space. Elder Taiho Kim walked slowly toward the stunned alien team. His voice was gentle but carried the weight of absolute authority. "You came here looking for primitive miners, Commander Veltar. Instead, you have discovered that humanity has spent 300 years preparing for war with the people who tried to exterminate us." The old man gestured toward the military hardware surrounding them. "Every human colony has facilities like this. Every human settlement is ready to defend itself and strike back at our enemies. We have been preparing for the day when hiding would no longer be enough." Dr. Yun stepped forward with another data pad. This one contained star charts and tactical information. "We know the location of every Galactic Council military base. We know which species participated in the Great Purge and which ones simply stood by and watched. We know exactly how to hurt the people who hurt us." Commander Veltar finally found his voice. "What do you want from us?" he asked in a whisper. "Why are you telling us all this instead of just killing us?" Elder Taiho smiled, but there was no warmth in the expression. "Because, Commander, we want you to go back to your people and tell them what you have seen here. We want the Galactic Council to know that humanity is no longer running and hiding. We want them to know that the war they started 3 centuries ago is about to begin again. And this time the humans intended to win." Commander Veltar stared at the massive underground shipyard surrounding him and tried to process what he was seeing. The alien team had expected to find primitive miners, but instead they had discovered the most advanced military facility any of them had ever encountered. And it was built and operated by a species that was supposed to be extinct. The human elder Taiho Kim stood calmly beside him, watching the aliens absorb the scope of what they had stumbled into. Around them, workers in advanced environmental suits moved between the war machines with the easy confidence of people who knew exactly what they were doing. "You are trying to calculate our military capabilities," the old man said quietly. "You are wondering how many ships we have built and how many warriors we have trained. You are thinking about how to warn your people about the threat you have discovered." Taiho activated a wall display that showed technical specifications for the vessels around them. "Each of these ships represents 30 years of research and development. We have studied every weakness in Galactic Council military technology. We have found ways to counter every advantage your people think they possess. The largest ship in the cavern was easily twice the size of any vessel in the Galactic Survey fleet. Its hull was made from materials that seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it. Weapon ports along its sides suggested firepower that could destroy entire fleets." Dr. Yun Yu joined them, carrying yet another data pad filled with information. This one showed population statistics and resource allocation charts. "Commander Yun, do you think you should understand the scope of what you have discovered here? This is not just one hidden colony. This is the command center of a shadow civilization." She pointed to numbers on the screen that made the alien crew's blood run cold. Conservative estimates suggest there are over 50 million humans scattered across the galaxy in hidden settlements, like this one. Each colony has been developing specialized technology and military capabilities for 3 centuries. The implications hit Commander Veltar like a physical blow. 50 million humans meant this was not just a surviving remnant of a defeated species. This was an entire civilization that had been growing and advancing in secret, while the rest of the galaxy believed they were extinct. Engineer Nari Choi approached, the group carrying what looked like a standard Galactic Council communication device, except this one had been extensively modified with human technology that the aliens did not recognize. "We have been monitoring your fleet communications since you entered this system," she said matter-of-factly. "Your ship has been sending routine status reports every 6 hours. When you fail to make your next scheduled contact, they will send additional ships to investigate your disappearance." She activated the device, and the aliens heard their own ship's computer systems responding to commands. "We have full control of your vessel now. We can send whatever messages we want your fleet to receive, or we can make your ship simply vanish without a trace." Security Chief Bok-young stepped forward with several human soldiers behind her. Each of them was equipped with weapons and armor that looked decades ahead of anything the Galactic Council military used. "The question is, what message do we want to send?" she said, looking directly at Commander Veltar. "Do we want your people to know that humanity has survived and is preparing for war? Or do we want them to remain ignorant until we are ready to strike?" Workshop Leader. Minho activated a holographic display showing the alien team's ship in orbit above them. "Your vessel is currently surrounded by 12 human warships using advanced stealth technology. Your sensors cannot detect them, but they have been tracking your every movement since you arrived." The hologram zoomed out to show the entire star system. Red markers appeared around other planets indicating additional human installations and defense platforms. "What you found here is just the tip of the iceberg, Commander. We have been building infrastructure throughout this region for decades." Commander Veltar tried one more time to negotiate with his captors. "Surely we can reach some kind of agreement," he said desperately. "The Galactic Council values peaceful contact with new civilizations. We could offer trade partnerships and cultural exchange programs." Elder Tejo laughed, but the sound held no humor at all. The same Galactic Council that spent 50 years hunting down every human settlement they could find. The same organization that offered bounties for human children and rewards for information leading to survivor communities. Dr. Yoon pulled up historical records on her display screen. "We have documented evidence of over 300 human colonies that were discovered and destroyed by Council forces in the centuries after the Great Purge. Billions of people murdered simply for being human." The records showed images that made even the hardened alien military personnel look away in disgust. Entire settlements burned to the ground. Families torn apart and sold into slavery. Children taken for medical experiments that violated every standard of civilized conduct. "This is why we cannot trust your offers of peace," Dr. Yoon continued. "Your people have proven again and again that they see humans as nothing more than animals to be eliminated or exploited. There can be no coexistence with species that view us as inherently dangerous." Young prodigy Jiwoo Park entered the cavern, carrying a device that made the alien sensors scream with energy readings they could not identify. She was barely 20 years old, but moved with the confidence of someone who understood technology far beyond her years. "I have been analyzing your ship systems and communication protocols," she announced to the group. "Their technology is actually quite primitive compared to what we have developed. I could improve their engine efficiency by 40% with just basic modifications." She connected her device to the modified communicator, and suddenly the aliens could hear conversations taking place on ships throughout their fleet. Real time. Communications between vessels that were supposed to be protected by military-grade encryption. "Your security protocols are embarrassingly weak," Jiwoo continued. "We have been monitoring Galactic Council military communications for decades. Every battle plan, every troop movement, every classified research project. We know about all of it." The final revelation came when the cavern walls shifted again to reveal viewing windows looking out into space. But instead of showing the dead planet surface they had landed on, the windows showed a thriving space station with dozens of ships docked to its external ports. "What you see as a barren world is actually one of our most important military installations," Security Chief Bok-young explained. "The entire planet is hollow and has been converted into a fortress and shipyard. We have similar facilities throughout the galaxy. Commander Veltar realized that his team had not just stumbled onto a hidden human settlement. They had discovered proof that humanity had been preparing for war for 3 centuries and was now ready to take their revenge on the species that had tried to destroy them. The age of human hiding was over, and the galaxy would never be the same. Elder Taiho Kim stood before the alien team in the vast underground shipyard and made a decision that would change the course of galactic history. His weathered face showed the weight of 3 centuries of human suffering, but also the quiet confidence of a people who had survived impossible odds. "Commander Veltar, you and your crew are going to leave this place," he said calmly. "You will return to your fleet and report what you have seen here. But understand this clearly. You are not leaving because we are showing you mercy. You are leaving because we want the Galactic Council to know what is coming." The reptilian commander stared at the human elder in confusion and growing fear. After everything they had witnessed, he had expected to be eliminated to prevent them from reporting back to their superiors. Instead, these humans wanted them to carry news of their survival back to the very people who had tried to exterminate them. Dr. Yun Yu approached with a final data package stored on a crystal memory device. "This contains coordinates to 12 other human settlements scattered across the galaxy," she said, placing the crystal in Veltar's clawed hand. "Each location represents a different aspect of our preparation for the war that is coming." She activated a holographic display showing star maps with marked locations throughout known space. "Military training facilities where we have been preparing soldiers for 3 centuries. Research installations where we have been developing weapons your people cannot defend against. Shipyards where we have been building fleets that will darken the skies of your homeworlds." Security Chief Bok-young stepped forward with additional information. "Every settlement you will find has been given the same instructions we received today. The age of hiding is over. Humanity is ready to reclaim our place in the galaxy whether the other species like it or not." Engineer Nari demonstrated one final piece of technology by reactivating all the alien equipment with a simple gesture. "Your weapons and communication systems are fully functional again," she explained. "But now they contain modifications you will not detect until you try to use them against human targets." The implications sent chills through the alien team. Every piece of equipment they carried had been altered by human technology in ways they could not understand. They were walking examples of how completely humanity had infiltrated and compromised Galactic Council systems. Workshop leader Minho escorted them toward the elevator that would take them back to the surface. As they rose through the